Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, graduates, graduands, families and friends. Thank you, Professor Humphreys and Professor Davis, for your kind words, and thank you, University of Brighton, for this significant honour. I am absolutely delighted to be here today and to be able to share in this celebration of graduation from the School of Applied Sciences and the School of Business and Law. A career in pharmacy has many moments when the importance of business acumen and an appreciation of the law come to the fore, especially in relation to medicines legislation. But I would like to start with the science. As someone who's committed to the development of clinical pharmacy, it may come as a surprise to know that initially I wanted to be a scientist, and in the biological sciences at that. Somewhere in the run-up to making those university choices, I landed on pharmacy and its blend of pharmacological, chemical, and pharmaceutical disciplines. Though I'm sure the graduands here will point out that it's a rather more complex field these days. But it was during my time as an undergraduate at the University of Nottingham in the 1980s that I started to become more aware that medicines, while undoubtedly leading players in their own right, have an audience, our patients, for whom they can deliver life-changing benefits and, unfortunately, on occasion, some harms. Armed with this new insight, I headed to the London Hospital in the East End just for a year's pre-registration training and a taste of the big city clinical world, or so I thought. But in reality, it set off a sequence of events that culminated in my appointment as the Chief Pharmaceutical Officer for England 2.5 years ago, and in receiving this honorary doctorate, for which I am truly grateful. So this, I think, would be my first piece of advice, particularly as you all reflect on the learning and, I'm sure, fun at the University of Brighton. Where you have been is important, but where you are going is more so. Scope for creativity is a key ingredient in a career, and I've been very fortunate to enjoy that spark through long-lasting partnerships with academia. Some of these have been formal joint appointments, and others have been collaborative activities built on shared interests and a determination to make meaningful change. It is now many years since I first contributed to the postgraduate master's program at the University of Brighton, where I could see firsthand how Professor Davis and colleagues were helping to shape the practice of pharmacy and, as a consequence, the care that patients received. Fast forward to 2024, and my visit to the university revealed that same spirit of innovation, this time in the context of the undergraduate curriculum. It was great to meet first-year students in the relatively familiar surroundings of a pharmaceutics lab, and then to discover that they were already relating learning in that class to things they had observed in their recent clinical placements. It is such a step forward to do this early in the career. I've also found that some of the strongest support for our important work on medicine sustainability comes from students and early career professionals, and that gives me great confidence for the future. There is an energy that comes from being involved in teaching and research, and the mission, I think, for all health professionals is not only to develop their practice, but to see their role as embracing education also. As pharmacy becomes an increasingly clinical discipline, not least through the ability to prescribe medicines, it will need all of its practitioners to recognize their responsibility to contribute to the development of others. There is an important aspect of inclusivity in this premise, enabling everyone to reach their potential and through a diverse workforce, better meet the needs of our patients and reduce health inequalities. If there is a downside to being involved in undergraduate education of healthcare professionals, It's that with every cohort of graduating students, you're often adding to the local workforce, which means it becomes increasingly difficult, as in my case, to enter a pharmacy without being pointed out as the person who taught me how to do this. I always hoped that this had been relevant and enabling. Whilst an intention to connect with academia has been a consistent theme for me, I have enjoyed working in many different roles encompassing hospital pharmacy, specialist pharmacy services, the Department of Health, and then regions and nationally. My ability to take up opportunities that have looked interesting and sometimes challenging stems from the support and encouragement I have received from my family, friends, and colleagues. Without them, many things would not have been possible. And a topic I'm often asked about is career planning and the "how did you get where you are now" question. So my second piece of advice is to be agile in responding to the opportunities where you see them. If something looks interesting, it probably is. Don't plan so rigidly that it stops you making the most of what is available to you. There have been high spots along the way, joining the Department of Health Steering Group on developing consultant pharmacist posts, contributing to the 2008 White Paper, seeing our professional development frameworks adopted by the Royal Pharmaceutical Society and further afield, leading the pharmaceutical response to the pandemic at Guy's and St Thomas's NHS Foundation Trust, and more recently providing professional leadership for significant new developments, including the launch of Pharmacy First across England and the independent prescribing pathfinders in community pharmacy. But of course, not everything goes smoothly, not everything gets accepted, and not every job comes your way. My last piece of advice is to look out for the aspects of your work that will bring you satisfaction and cultivate those alongside the other things you need to do. To everyone graduating today, I offer my congratulations and best wishes for the future. Your time at the University of Brighton will have helped you prepare for the next stage, and you can take that step confidently. In receiving this award, I reflect on how much support and help I've had in my career and how much colleagues have contributed to the work we have done together. I hope all of you will enjoy the same level of friendship and support that I have received. Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, graduates, graduands, families and friends, thank you for this honour.